Basshole Studios in Hollywood, California.
Yo, what time is it?
You're listening to I'm a Basshole with Doug Bass. We've all been one.
He's an asshole.
So let's laugh about it. Now, here's your host, Doug Bass.
Hey, what's up, everyone? It's I'm a Basshole. Welcome to the show. My name's Doug Bass. I'm your host. Follow us on Instagram at Basshole Podcast or Basshole Show. The website is bassholeshow.com. We got a great show today. My guest today is one of my bestie friends, Katierose Enriquez. Her one-woman show, Queen of Fishtown, is taking over the country and the world by storm. It appeared at the Hollywood Fringe Festival, where it was nominated for Best Solo Performance. It also took over the 2022 Edinburgh Fringe Festival, where it was recognized by the Firework Awards, I believe. And I don't know what that is, but we're going to talk about that. And you can catch her at November 15th and 19th this month at in New York City at the United Solo Festival. And Katierose Enriquez. Here she is. Katierose, welcome to I'm a Basshole. Welcome to the new studio.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Of course.
I love the new studio.
Thanks. Yeah, it's really, it's a multi-million-dollar project that we put together here.
You know what I will say about this new studio? It's more open air.
It is open air.
It feels more... I don't know. It feels like there's more air movement. I don't know.
Yeah.
The last place was kind of...
It was cramped.
It was
It was a hot room, which had a window air conditioner unit, so you couldn't really put it on during the show. And then, it was tight. Like this, we have a tall ceilings.
We
here.
also did one outside.
We
I
did
feel
during
like
pandemic.
and
yeah.
it was good, but it was like
Yeah, it was,
This is good.
This is good. This is a good blend of everything.
Congrats.
Thanks. Yeah, and it's adaptable. You can like move walls and stuff like that. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Nice.
well, welcome here. Yeah. How you been? What's been going on?
Oh man, I've been so crazy.
Yeah.
Yesterday was a full moon total.
Oh, was it?
Eclipse.
Is this what the red robe guy was talking about?
Oh, I didn't watch the Red Robe guy yesterday,
What's his
but
name again?
I read Robe Astrology.
Oh,
I don't know, but
yeah.
he's great.
Yeah,
I
he is
like
good.
that guy.
I tune in every now and then to see what he has to say.
He's great. No, every astrologer was like,
Yeah.
buckle up. It's going to be a rough one.
Oh,
and I was
man.
like, oh, man, come on, guys.
Now you are really into this stuff, right? You check it every morning and stuff.
No,
like that?
not every morning,
No, right.
but most days, actually.
I saw a woman who had a van in Larchmont Village today that was doing tarot and sound bath and Reiki
Ooh.
and something else. I don't know, but like she was just parked there in the village, and it was like it's all decked out. And I was
I
like,
wonder
oh.
if she can get in trouble for that.
I don't know.
but-
She had an Instagram page. I looked at it. It looked kind of legit. I don't
That's
know.
cool.
Yeah, I was like, all right.
I my friend Annie Cavallero gave me a tarot deck like maybe, I don't know, 5 years ago as a gift. And I love it.
Yeah.
I still have to use the book.
Yeah,
But
I
I really like doing the
I have a friend that does
readings.
it, and she lives over in like Marina Del Rey, and like she's pretty good at it. But,
I did a reading for my whole year for 2022. So you like pull a card for each month and then you pull a card for like the theme of the whole year.
yeah.
Oh, it was. I do such great readings for everyone else when I try to do one for myself.
Does it ever like freak
it's-
you out? Like
well, when
the
I do
results?
myself,
Yeah.
then it's always like I get the bad, ugly cards.
Yeah.
Even though I tell anyone I'm doing a reading for, like, there's no such thing. But I ended up picking, so for the whole year, I picked death.
Oh no.
Yeah. So
That's
this
horrible.
whole year has been a year of death. But it in the same way that I tell like anyone
the
I'm
year's
doing it
almost
for.
over, so.
But death isn't necessarily. It just means the end of something.
The end of something.
Things need
the
to end
birth
for
of
new
something new.
beginnings. Yeah. But I was like, oh crap.
Right.
But now, I mean, I've made it to November. It's been a fantastic, crazy, fun year.
Stop begging, dogs.
Oh yeah. This little rigatoni he asking for.
I don't know. He's a cutie, but he's a little needy sometimes.
He's
But
like, sauce me.
he's missing his parents. That's what it is.
Aw.
It's like separation anxiety, but he's a sweetie. All right. Well, let's talk about you've been busy. You haven't really been here that much. You've been traveling
I'm sorry,
the world.
friend. I've neglected our friendship.
It's all good. You've been in Europe for like 2 months or whatever.
Yeah.
So your show Queen of Fishtown, it's a one-woman show that you you've written and you star in it, and it was directed by our good friend Corey Podell. And it started here in LA at the Hollywood Fringe. Well, you did it didn't you do it like a couple times before that?
One time before okay, I'll try to tell the abbreviated version.
Yeah, because I saw it like when it was in its like early stages of development.
Yes. So yeah, I have this show, Queen of Fishtown, set in Philadelphia on a stoop in Philly. It's about basically like facing inevitable change, and it's a comedy but has a lot of dramatic moments.
Right.
And I originally wrote it as a television pilot. So like I finished writing it and I was like, I think this is one of the best things I've ever written. I was super proud of it. I registered it at the WGA, and then like a month later I saw the first billboard for Mayor of Easttown, which is set in Philly.
Okay. Yeah.
Delco, Delaware County. Yeah, and I was like, what the hell is this? Like that always happens, you know? So I was like, okay, I watched the show though, and everybody loved the show. Now, at first I was concerned because I was like, oh my God, they're doing I just wrote this television pilot set in Philly. It's
you're like, this is already
and there were
Fishtown,
really specific things. Like I had like the daughter in my pilot has like the stars on the ceiling, and that was like something in Mayor of Easttown, except the stars in my show was the Philly special. It was like the Nick Foles play from the Super Bowl that's projected on her ceiling. But in Mayor of Easttown, like her grandkid has like and I was like, this is way specific. Like, but everyone that watched the show was like, this only helps you, Kate, because everybody loved it. Everybody loved it.
It was well received, and if people love something, they're like
Winslet. I mean, I love her.
Right. But
she does a pretty good job with the Philly accent, which a lot of people don't attempt it.
But isn't that a drama?
It's a drama. Yeah.
I haven't seen it, but I've read stuff about it.
Yeah. So anyway, I told you I was going to tell you the abbreviated version, and immediately went all the way back to the beginning of time.
That's what happens. It's good.
Yeah.
That way people get a background of where the show, birthed.
So I had this thing. I did a little reading like on Zoom with some friends and got some feedback. I wrote it. I did a rewrite, sent it out for coverage, where you can like pay for people to read and they give you feedback.
Well, that's good. That's
and I
helpful.
sent it to some competitions and stuff. And I kept getting the same kind of feedback, which was, we love the setting. It's so interesting. We love the dialogue. We love this. You need to beef up that husband character more. I'm like, do I? No. I mean, because in my mind, he's the Leah Remini.
Yeah.
And my character is...
You're the main character.
Yeah. I'm the Kevin. Anyway, and then they said... We love everything except we just don't think this show will get made because your main character is too angry. She's unlikable. And I was like, well, what does that have to do with it being entertaining? Because like, is Larry David likable?
No, but we're always rooting for him.
Yeah. And he's fun to watch, and it's fun to see him get worked up, But I was like, oh, the main difference is it's a woman,
Right. Yeah.
So I got that feedback a couple of times to the point where I got...
Who are these people giving the feedback, by the way?
They're just readers, readers at different places that I sent it to for cover, the Blacklist.
At the agencies or
no, I didn't really send it to too many agents. I just kind of put it up on the boards.
It's just their opinion,
to see like on the Blacklist and a couple of competitions and stuff. But yeah, so then I called Corey because I was like, I think I have to show them. I have to show them what I mean.
Right.
Because they're saying this character is unlikable. I'm like, well, who are you picturing playing it? Are you picturing Kristen Bell?
Right.
Is she still unlikable?
Right. Now, all these notes that you got, did you take any of these notes and like adjust your
One of the notes said there were too many exclamation points. And that's like just a note for my general life. Like even in text messages, I did take that note. I went through and I was like, let me just
Well, I
eliminate
found
some of these
like when I've
exclamation
written
points.
stuff like you overdo that, and then like you go back like when you start like editing, you're like, oh, what can I take out? And then you're like, okay, maybe I don't need 4 of those.
Yeah, right. So that was one of the No, I definitely took some of the notes, but it was what prompted me to call Corey. I was like, I think I just have to show them.
Yeah.
And so then I called Corey Podell and our genius friend who, she co-devised Gutter Plum for Courtney Peroso, our other dear friend that we all used to perform together. And Gutter Plum is such an amazing show. And it's a one-woman show as well. And so I called Corey and I said, I want to make a one-woman show. I don't know what it's going to be yet, but I have this pilot. She's like, send it to me. I'm like, all right. I sent it to her. She's like, I love it. You never get to see a woman work through her anger issues.
Right, yeah.
And I was like, great, she gets it. So we met. We set a time. I set a time, and I was like, I'm going to do something in 1 month. I'll invite Doug. I'll invite some people. And I wrote it pretty quickly and then put it up and then got some feedback from everyone. And then I was like, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little preview. I'll do it near my birthday, and then everyone feels guilty and they have to come. They have to
come. Yeah, that's the best time to put on a show.
Always the best time. And then in the new year, I'll do a little run and I'll try to get like people to come see it and be like, see, it works as a television. This is what the characters sound like. This is what they, and then Omicron happened. So
Omicron. I'm trying to remember which one that is.
Yeah, that was like
that was the second wave.
We were back. Everyone was vaccinated. We were back and vaxxed, and it was. And
then it was like, watch out. Yeah.
And then Omicron happened, and Broadway closed down. I mean, everything closed down again.
Yeah.
And
I remember that.
So that was January 2022, and I was like, okay, well, what do I do? So then I Googled like, how do you take a show to the Edinburgh Fringe? And that day, I applied for the Hollywood Fringe, United Solo Fest in New York City, and for the Edinburgh Fringe. And I ended up getting into like all of them, which I wasn't expecting. It was like this weird.
Now you submitted the script, right?
I actually submitted
or the tape.
I submitted the script, and I also submitted like the recording of the little preview.
That was like the workshop one, right? The first.
Yeah,
one
I just sent. Yeah, I just sent that, and I don't know, it was so different than what I'm used to in Hollywood, which is just like doors slammed and doors locked.
Yeah.
Like,
and then when you get approved by all 3 that you submitted to, it's like, whoa, that's amazing.
Yeah, okay, so I think I was supposed to re-enter the theater. Like I didn't.
It's a sign.
It was, I think. And it was such a joyful experience, like putting it on stage, working with Corey. Like I would cry, like from like tears of joy, like more than a few times. Like I'd be like,
well, you're back. You're back doing something creative that you love, and this is a character that you've really like honed, and a story that's like close to So it's like all the hard work paying off, and then these people, these festivals are saying, yes, please come.
I don't know if they're saying please come, but they said you're in. That's all.
Yeah,
and then you got to figure out the rest, which is. That has been a beast, but it's been a really exciting year of like putting the show up and the show. And once I knew I was doing the Hollywood Fringe and the Edinburgh Fringe, I was like, well, I can't do it these places and not do it in Philadelphia. It's set in Philadelphia.
Right, you kind of have to, yeah.
So then I booked some time in Philly to do the show before I went to Europe, and then I ended up getting an offer to do 2 previews in London before Scotland. And so I was like, oh, all of a sudden I'm like going on this tour, which
it's amazing.
I've never done anything like that.
That's incredible.
I never would have imagined doing that. I don't think it was like.
It just kind of started to fall together almost.
I guess I just started like going, well, I'll try this and I'll try that.
See what happens. Yeah.
I don't know.
Now, when you did this in Philly, was there a drastic difference in like the crowd? Like, were they like eating this shit up? They know the town, they know the area.
The Philly crowds. It's so interesting. Everywhere I did it in the world.
Yeah.
I would say 95% of the time there was at least one person in the audience who was from Philadelphia.
Philly,
and they would wait after the show to be like, oh yeah, I saw your poster, and I was like, I gotta go to that. You know? But when I did it in Philadelphia, that was awesome. We were oversold the whole week. It was like they were crazy. Like at the lights down when you're doing.
How many shows did you do there? 2?
No, I did like 6.
6. Okay. Do you see that like now that you've done it in Philly,
Mm-hmm.
like do you see like is there like a home for like a show like that there? Like if you did like, a residency there for like 2-3 months or something
I would
like that?
totally be open to that.
Yeah.
I want to so when I'm doing it in New York next week, and
Right.
I'm hoping to kind of see what's next for it. Like,
Yeah.
because I did originally write it as this television
Well,
pilot.
we're waiting for that next. Yeah, the TV show or the movie or whatever. Yeah.
I'm like, do I pursue that?
Yes.
Do I continue to try to get a theater in Philly to host? I don't really
Right.
know. I'm open. I
Right.
just know that like I had this thing, and the more I kind of just put it out there, the more it seems like it's like, yeah, come do it.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. And I have to say, it's a lot of work.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It takes over your
producing
world.
is
Yeah.
so much
Yeah.
work. It just in and of itself. I mean, social media,
Oh my God.
and it's like
ridiculous.
it's just me and my lovely husband.
It's a lot. It's a lot, but you put what you can into it, and then you get the rewards. It's like
the reward is getting to do the show.
the reward's getting to do the show, and then like anything else that happens on top of that is like gravy,
Oh,
so
yeah.
it's like, but you're on the right track, I think, because it's like this should be a TV show. You should film a pilot of it or whatever.
Well, I
and
hope
it's like
so.
it's like you get the funding and you do the you shoot in Philly or whatever, and it's all right. Calm down, dogs. Jesus.
All right, rigatoni.
I know. Yeah, I mean, like it's unlimited what you can do with it. Really, I mean, if you just sink your hard work into it and go for it. You know?
Yes, I've had a lot of friends say to me like, "I'm so proud of you for just going for it and like not waiting around for anyone else."
No,
and,
you can't
and all
wait
this.
around.
And I'm like, I didn't know that's what I was doing.
Right, you're just doing it. You're
I
just
was
doing
just
what's a
like-
project that you had really passion for, and
Yeah.
just kind of wanted because you don't know really what will come out of anything. Like even like doing this podcast, I'm just like I don't know. Like this is what I'm supposed to do right now. And it's
Right.
like I don't know. Maybe people will listen, maybe they won't, and it's like you do what you want to do, and
As long as it feels good to do it,
Exactly,
like
yeah,
then
yeah.
if it doesn't feel, there are moments where you have to prostrate yourself in order to try and sell tickets or
Right. Well, yeah,
that kind of
selling the
thing,
tickets
but-
is definitely difficult because it's like, especially when you're out of town, because it's like that's something like I'm dabbling with now, like trying to do this show or whatever. Like it's like I don't know anyone here, but like they said I could do it, or I
Yeah.
don't know, I'd like to do it here, But it's like maybe you can get people to come, and then you don't know, but you do what you can, you advertise it, you social media it up, and hopefully
that's what
people come. Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to do right now.
Yeah, so
For
you're,
New York,
you're going to
'cause
be
it's
in New
like-
York. What next week,
So
right?
Tuesday, November 15th.
Right, November
At
15th.
8:30, there are still tickets available, but the Saturday, November 19th is completely sold out.
That's great.
So that's great. I know. I'm
Saturday
thrilled.
night? That's great.
Saturday night is sold
November
out.
15th. What day is that?
But Tuesday, November 15th.
That's Tuesday.
Yeah, there's still tickets.
All right, so
Get your tickets.
everyone that's listening, grab tickets if you're in the
Yeah,
New York
you
area.
gotta come to my show.
If you're in the New York area, November 15th at the United Solo. Is it it's a festival?
It's it's a solo theater festival. It's at the Theater Row complex
Right.
on
Oh, okay.
42nd Street. So
Yeah.
this is
Oh,
like
yeah,
my
great
big
area.
my New York theater
This is it.
debut at
Yeah.
at 42nd Street. I'm stoked.
Big time. Yeah.
Yeah, big time.
It is. I mean, grab tickets now because I think it will sell out. Yeah, for sure.
Boy, I hope you're right. I mean, it's so much more fun to do a show for
course,
a full house.
yeah.
I mean, I've done
Yeah.
it for a lot less.
Of course, we all have.
But it, and those shows I think are also really important.
They are because like
do.
you kind of see like you can either play around a little bit more or see kind of reactions from 7 people out of there. Or
Yeah,
whatever.
or you get the performance becomes
Yeah.
more intimate.
It does,
and
yeah.
it's
Yeah. It's
And
different.
there's a lot of audience interaction in my
Yeah,
show.
that's right.
So I'm not like getting anyone up and like embarrassing anyone or
No.
anything like
You
that.
won't
It's
be.
just I
You
just
won't be
talk
part
to
of
the
the
audience.
show, but you'll be.
Yeah.
You feel like you're involved. Yeah.
But the whole thing is set in this neighborhood,
Fishtown,
So
yeah.
Fishtown, my family's from the neighborhood, the areas. My dad grew up in Harrogate or Port Richmond,
Mm-hmm. Right.
and my mom in Frankfurt, and Fishtown's like right there. And it was kind of always historically this kind of an undesirable neighborhood.
I don't
guess.
think I've been there. I mean, I've only been to Philly a handful of times, but
It wouldn't be on your. It wouldn't. 20 years ago would not have been a place you were trying to visit.
Yeah. Philly, I don't know at all, which is like, I mean, I know some.
Right there, man. You grew up right there.
Yeah,
but New York City was like 10 minutes away from you.
I mean, that's my city growing up. But like the memory I have of Philly is that our family car got broken into when we went there.
That sounds right.
After
that tracks.
we went to the Jersey Shore for like a week, and then we went to Philly for like the day
We're
to
gonna
like
see the Liberty Bell.
Yeah, go see that Liberty Bell and everything.
Yeah.
And then we went back to the car, and like it was broken into, and like our suitcases were taken. I was probably like 10 or something, and I was like, I think that was my first time to Philly. I was like, what is this place?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I was like, what?
Yeah, no, that tracks. That tracks.
But that will not happen to you if you go to Fishtown.
Well, no. Well, this is the thing. So Fishtown has been completely gentrified.
And that's a big plot point in the show. Yeah.
Part of the show, yes, because my character, Kathleen Burke, the main character, she's an OG. Like her family has lived in that neighborhood for generations, like as if my family was, and now all of these rich people have moved in and all these breweries and axe throwing businesses,
right? And that's the fun
restaurants.
That's the fun of the show is that Kathleen is like kind of just admiring and watching this like a fly on the wall, like all this stuff like be built around her, taking it in and kind of like complaining about it, but then appreciating parts of it and being like, what are you like the Lululemon, like it's funny,
she totally she'll razz her new neighbors about it, but she's also like, this is
I want to get in on that.
She's like she says like, I ain't mad at you for moving in,
right.
It's way nicer now. But she also so the neighborhood itself of Fishtown serves as a mirror to her own life.
Right.
So like it starts on the stoop in Philly, on her stoop, and she's talking to her neighbors, and then she goes into the house, and once you go into the house, you see everything about her life is changing. You know, the kids are growing up. She's getting older.
It's a lot.
There's health stuff. There's
a little bit of everything.
And it's how do you maintain your authenticity? How do you stay true to who you are?
Right.
Even though it's inevitable. Change is inevitable.
Yeah.
And I think the neighborhood of Fishtown, it has a pendulum swing even there. Like how do we become? We're getting so fancy and expensive now that what made Fishtown so cool for
and that's a lot like with a lot of these different areas, like a town like that, or like parts of LA or other cities. It's like oh, who'd have thought that this city would be like people wanting to move here, and it's like I hear like other cities like Boise and stuff like that are like oh my god, people are like going
moving
there in droves, like to Boise, Idaho, and it's like what it's interesting.
It is interesting. I think that's what's universal about the story. I think like that this is happening everywhere. Yeah. And so that's part of it. And it was fun to do the show in Philly because they got so many of the references. But I was concerned, like, what's it going to be like? Because when I did it in Hollywood, it would be like, people would be like, I learned a bit about Philly whatever. Maybe they had some knowledge. But then going to do it in London and then going it in Scotland, it was awesome.
Yeah.
I really didn't know what the takeaway would be if they would go, I can't understand a word she's saying.
Right.
Because I'm doing the Philly dialect throughout the whole show.
A heavy dialect, yeah.
It's a very specific dialect, and then I thought, and what if they don't get these right? I mean, I do my best to context clues and make sure to bring them along. And the first night I did it in London, they gave a standing ovation.
That's awesome.
And the first night I did it in Scotland, same thing, and these were perfect strangers to me. And so to me, I was like, oh, they get it. Okay. So like it's playing here too.
Yeah, exactly. Because there's towns there that are probably very similar or doing the same kind of thing. And they just kind of like substitute whatever section that they're thinking of, Fishtown or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I did the show in Islington, which I think is kind of the Fishtown of London. It
Got
was
it.
like not
Yeah.
a place for a
Yeah.
long time, and now it's a
now it's
super.
happening.
Yeah, the Fishtown was named the hottest neighborhood in America by Forbes magazine in like
That's
2018.
crazy. Yeah.
It's like $1 million row homes, which is like
Right.
an oxymoron to say. I feel
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
you know, it's
I mean, you know, it's like whatever's hot is hot at the moment. You know,
Yeah,
you never know. You never know where the next big neighborhood's gonna pop up. I
and
guess.
the show isn't necessarily just about gentrification. I know
No.
we're talking about that. It's like actually more about this woman
Yeah,
and her family.
it's her family, her
Yeah,
journey.
yeah.
You know, her ups and downs.
Yeah, yeah.
Appreciating kind of what she has, and
it's fun to watch her, you know, get worked up
Yeah.
about stuff.
I mean, because she is a character. She is like, I feel like everyone knows someone that's similar to her in a different way. You know, it's like whether it's like your crazy aunt or like, you know, the neighbor across the street. You know, it's like everyone knows someone that's similar to Kathleen, I think.
Absolutely. I've had so everybody comes up after the show. Oh, this reminded me
Yeah.
of my aunt. This
Exactly.
this
It's
is
relatable.
everybody in my family. I mean, I had a guy from Texas who came to the show in Scotland.
Yeah.
And then,
That's interesting because there's so many tourists that go to
Yes.
the Edinburgh Fringe Festival. So you must have like such a mix of people at these audiences. I would
Oh,
guess.
it's such a mix. It's like definitely the world stage.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the third largest ticketed event in the world.
Really?
So it's the Olympics, the World Cup, and then the Edinburgh Fringe.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
The World
But there
Cup.
were like three.
Super Bowl's not even up there, huh? Because it's one game, right?
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
But it was like 3,700 shows
Yeah, that's a lot.
in the
That's
Fringe.
That's a lot
and
to
that's
choose from.
you're competing against.
So there's that. There's
Yeah.
there's a lot of theaters there that I'm guessing, right? I mean,
It's a lot of venues, but there's also shows from like 10 a.m. to like 1 a.m.
okay. So it's all day,
It's all day at
Yeah.
every venue, and there's like 300 venues.
and you got to get these people to buy tickets to your show.
And you're out
right?
there, and
you're out there
you have your
barking and
you
hustling,
have your,
and
your flyers, and
Yeah, yeah.
I always wore like my Phillies like
Right.
sports attire. I thought, oh, every once in a while I'd wear it. No, every single day, because it was the one thing that like if people saw it and
if
they
they
knew,
were out of town and they were a fan of the Phillies,
yeah,
they'd be
or
like,
they
oh,
did.
yeah,
I would be like walking down a cobblestone street
Right.
and hear like "Go Birds," and I'd be like, turn around, I'd run, I'd be like, "You've got to come to my show," and I'm like trying to give them a flyer.
yeah, it's a hustle. It's a hustle. I love it. I
Yeah,
love
yeah. It was. Yeah, that part was fun. And I started doing like, the social media of it all.
Oh, it's a lot, right?
The social media
It's
of
a
it all.
lot. You almost
But we-
need like you need to hire someone like part time
People
to just
have
do it.
people
Yeah.
to do
I
this
know.
stuff for
I
them.
know. I'm like
Not me.
No, I'm even with this friggin' show. It's like I'm like I gotta get the clips up of like like I gotta edit the clips and throw them up, and then like oh my god, it's.
I have all these like we
a
do
lot.
these like stage door reviews like after the show. If people were coming out, we'd say, "Oh, would you say a couple?" I wouldn't actually. My
the
husband Alex would do it,
testimonials.
but
Yeah.
like a testimony. Like, what'd you think of the show? Because it'd be weird if I was asking them. They'd
Right.
feel like they'd have to say something good. Like I never was around when this happened, but
Yeah.
I have the videos, and I still have like. I probably
There's a
have
lot.
like 20 videos still to put up, and like I
And then
constantly
someone's
am
gonna be
putting
like,
them
"Where's
up.
my testimonial?"
I
didn't
did,
see
my
it.
friend,
Yeah.
my friend
100%.
Sally said you didn't put mine up
No.
yet, and I was
I
like,
get
"Oh,
people-
sorry,
yeah.
Sally, I don't even know."
I try to
who
record
put
a lot
up."
of these podcasts, and like I have some that I haven't released yet. And they're like, "Whatever happened to the?" And I'm like, "It'll be released." I'm like,
It'll come out.
it's timing. I'm like, I try to record these when I can, and then it's like,
Yep,
this
get them in
one-
the can.
This one will be released immediately, though, because we remember you have to get your tickets November 15th and
Yes.
19th at the United Solo Festival in New York City for Queen of Fishtown. We're just plugging it again.
Yes, I love it. Plug it. I mean, what could I say?
Do you have merch?
It's a love letter to the historically overlooked and unappreciated city of brotherly love
Mm-hmm.
and working class women everywhere.
Exactly.
Philadelphia,
I
a
love
place where they, self-care is a punchline and humor is a defense mechanism, and that's the basis of the show.
Yeah, I love it, and every time I see it, there's something different that's added to it, or a way you play a certain scene is a little different sometimes. So it's like it's always evolving.
Well, that's always different depending on how the audience
Yeah,
is kind of, because you can feel like what
Exactly.
they're.
Yeah. Do you have do you have merch for like?
I do.
I have a koozie, I believe. Here,
Yeah, I
with
gave
Queen of
you a
Fishtown on it.
koozie.
Yes,
So I have these
yeah.
beer koozies. It's a line from the show where it says, "Oh, who am I kidding? I'm definitely going to crack one."
Yeah.
And she cracks a beer, and then I have some grocery totes I didn't turn out as well as I
No?
wanted. I feel kind of I actually feel bad for anyone that if you bought a
Are they
tote from me,
yeah.
hit me up. I'll send you.
Oh, God.
I'll send you another one or give you your money back or something.
You should
Because
complain to the company that made them for you. If you're not happy with it.
Vistaprint.
Oh, I've used Vistaprint.
I love Vista. I love
You know,
everything about Vistaprint.
I've made
except
business cards with them for this show.
I've done flyers, posters,
Yeah.
everything. But I got these totes made, and they just
Yeah, you know what's weird? It's like I've gotten business cards and they came back and they were kind of like shitty or like they didn't look what they were like. You know, they're off or whatever. They'll redo them for free. But I don't know.
By the way,
I don't know
this,
about the
this
totes.
podcast is not sponsored by Vistaprint.
No,
or
we're actually
anything.
complaining about them. But
No, but so I had these totes, and it says So the Acme, if you know the area, the Acme is like one of the big grocery stores there. But everyone says Acme, even though
Acme?
it's spelled Acme.
Acme.
A-C-M-E.
that's like Looney Tunes, like
Yeah, but
Acme, like warehouse.
Like
Yeah.
yes, exactly. And like I grew up with this grocery store, and I always said Acme.
Acme.
Acme. I'm going to go to the Acme.
Acme.
Acme. And I had to like train myself to say Acme.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Oh, so many things
Yeah.
that theater school
Well,
beat
'cause
out of my.
I mean,
beat
it
out
is a
of me.
regional thing. You grow up saying certain things
Yeah.
different ways. You know, it's like you get used to
Color
it.
with
Yeah.
crowns.
Yeah, yeah.
We wash our
exactly.
hands with water. We
Now,
dry them with a towel.
Now, do you think the character Kathleen Burke, is she an asshole? Just so we can kind of like just throw the show into her a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I think that she can be.
Yeah.
Yeah, she is.
She definitely comes off as one. I
Yeah.
think in the beginning a little
She
bit.
is. She's an asshole.
But you grow, you grow to love.
But she's
her.
a lovable
She
asshole.
is. Yeah.
She's like a
yeah.
smart ass, person. Like it's like that person where you're like, they're such an asshole.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You know.
But
But she also learns throughout the show, like she owns her shit.
She does.
At a certain point, she does. She
She's
not
confident.
always, but sometimes, she can recognize, she'll hear herself and be like, wait a second. And she'll even, so I would say about her is like, she is an asshole, but she's also trying to be her best self.
She is. Yeah.
I think that's why ultimately you'll root for her, because she is trying. She's trying.
She's trying. She's doing the best she can.
Yeah.
And it's always like, you play all these other characters that are on stage, that are in her life. And it's so magical seeing you just kind of like, transform into these people, right in front of your eyes. And then you go back to Kathleen and it's like, oh, this is awesome. It's amazing.
Thanks, Doug.
Yeah. It's a great show. It's super fun, funny, dramatic moments, heartfelt moments. It's really got a little bit of everything for everyone. And you'll learn a little bit about Philadelphia, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And maybe a little bit about yourself.
About yourself, yeah. If anything, I think after watching this a couple of times, I was like, oh, you know what? I enjoy sitting on a stoop.
Yeah.
I was like, that's something that like I haven't thought about in a while. And after watching your show, I was like, yeah, it is good to sit on a stoop and crack a beer open or have a whatever you have and just sit there,
Yeah.
And,
talk to the people in the neighborhood.
And I remember I sat on my stoop when I moved out of like my old place. Like I had a stoop, like the front porch, and I was like, I'm gonna sit on this stoop for a little while and just kind of, I had just moved everything out. I was like tired, but I was like, it was late, and I was like, but there's a stoop, and I'm gonna sit on it for like 20 minutes and just take in the night air.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is great. This is great.
It is.
It's a great moment. It's a great moment for yourself. You kind of just can be who you are and live in the moment.
I guess it is like a place you can center yourself.
It is.
Who
yeah.
knew?
Who knew?
Philly had this stoop on lock, and it's like
Right?
it's like a little meditation den of your own.
And it's like
your
it's
little dojo
yeah,
out front.
And the stoop's like I have a stoop outside of my apartment building that I could sit on, but I don't think it's the same because it's like, like a stoop that has like a lot of like passerbys or like people watching opportunities, like in Philly or like a New York or something, somewhere where it's a little more, pedestrian heavy. It's like those are the stoops that are like prime real estate, I think, because you can sit there and like when you're an older, like you're gonna love that stoop and you're gonna sit there and really people watch and just that's gonna be like a form of entertainment.
What's kind of crazy about the stoops in Philadelphia is like even the
stoops of Philadelphia, this is Springsteen song.
In the stoops of Philadelphia, a lot of the stoops were made of marble. So
Really?
like you'll have this old rickety row home that's been there 100 years. that, who knows what, if anything's been updated. But these steps, and my mom and her siblings, when they would go visit their grandparents, like they'd have to clean
the marble.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
They had these marble.
Take care of your stoop.
Like these. Yeah. It's just so interesting. I feel like a lot of people don't realize that. A lot of the stoops were made of marble back in the day.
That's a lot.
That sounds crazy to me.
Yeah, it's going to last a long time though if it's well maintained. Probably.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Don't skimp on your stoop if you're putting in a stoop.
Marble?
Put in some
I
marble.
don't know about that, but
something that's like long lasting. I would say.
Yeah, for sure.
Invest in it. All right. Well, this has been good. This has been fun.
Yeah.
I just wanted to catch up with you. I didn't, you hadn't been on the show since we did the outdoor one.
Yeah.
Which was kind of
it's been a minute.
Yeah. And then you got to see the new studio.
I thought of an asshole story.
You have
Should
one?
I tell
you
it?
have one? Yeah.
I thought of one.
I didn't know if you had one, but I didn't want to put pressure on you.
I thought of one from back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Doug and I were in a sketch group a long time ago.
Yeah.
And we were supposed to perform at I.O. West.
Oh, iOS Hollywood.
Rest in peace, I.O.
Yeah, right. That didn't. That shut down during pandemic, right? Or before
I think
that?
Before that.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, but we were supposed to perform at a certain time, and they kept giving us the runaround. They kept changing our time because we weren't a house group.
We were just trying to get.
We were visitors. Yeah.
Visitors.
But the other group that was we had already sold a bunch of tickets, and whenever we performed there, we would fill it out and bring a great crowd and whatnot. Anyway, they kept changing the time or something. I don't remember what happened, but I remember we got an email, and I replied all. Do you remember this? By accident.
So.
I thought
I think
so.
I
think I think Michael Aspinwall or someone said IO sent us this, and he forwarded the message to the whole group.
Right, I remember this.
Saying we have to change the time of your performance.
Yeah.
And I replied all thinking it was just going to everyone, our sketch group.
Yeah.
And I wrote IO can suck a fart out of my ass.
I remember this. Yeah, I do remember this.
And I pressed send. And realized that the guy from IO was on the email.
Yeah.
So then I replied all.
The director or whatever.
Oh shit. And then I replied all again. And I was like, I'm so sorry. Please accept my formal apology for my mouth. I don't wish that IO would do that. I was upset because you guys have changed the time but I understand if you don't want me to perform, please don't hold it against the rest of my group. I'll sit the performance. The guy never even responded to any of it.
Yeah, I never remembered how that ended, but yeah.
Yeah, but okay, so I kind of forgot about this story, and Michael Aspinwall is engaged.
Yeah, is he?
Did you know this?
I don't know if I knew that.
To Dylan. And Dylan reminds me, he's like, the first time I met you, I came into IO because I was going to see you guys perform. And he said he came up to me and he said, oh, I'm so sorry. Are you Katie Rose? And I was sitting at the bar and I turned and I was like, why? Who's asking? And he reminded me this story and he's like, and then you told me this whole story about how you thought I was going to throw you out of the theater. And he was just now going to be Michael's husband, he was dating him. He remembered this whole story. Anyway, there was.
It's just funny that the guy never responded to the email. Either he felt awkward and didn't know how to respond, or he made a mental note of oh, this. What was it, Big Boss or whatever they call it. It's oh, fuck these guys. These guys aren't coming back or whatever. It's
whatever.
And now they're closed. So
it doesn't matter.
It wasn't like a group that was gonna make us or break us.
I remember now one other time I did something when we were
on an email.
Yeah. Or you had this character that did the speech before the ArcLight movies.
Oh, yes. Okay.
So what's the character's name?
Lawrence
Saltzman.
Yes,
so you had this character who would come out before the ArcLight movies. And if you don't know, ArcLight was a movie movie theater
that character
here in LA.
won't hold up now. I can't do it.
Well, they had there was this movie theater in LA that was so nice and very posh, and the sound was always perfect, and no one talked,
right.
and
it was where cinephiles went to go see films.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I always thought this whole town is based
Yeah.
on the movie industry. It's like we should have theaters where it is that. And, you know, although I'm totally down for popcorn movies where people are like, no, don't go in there. Like, I love that stuff too.
But someone would come out and introduce the film,
Yes.
and they'd say, like, you know, it's starring this person and it's directed by
This is the runtime. And sometimes they'd have Q&A, like maybe the director would be there or somebody would come out at the end to shake hands or,
They'd be like, we're going to make sure the sound is pristine. We'll be sitting in the back, make sure the film is good.
Yeah. And you had this character who would do that, but then would also be like, and I have my script, and I'm trying to make movies, and I love movies. And
in case you don't like the movie, you can read my script during the previews. I don't know. Yeah, he was just trying to get ahead.
So
like us all.
Doug had this character, and he had been doing it for a couple years, and then you put it up on Funny or Die,
right?
And then I remember Funny or Die came out with one of those exclusives.
All right.
They heard me whisper, so they thought they should bark. You remember those exclusives?
Oh, exclusive Funny or Die. Yes.
Yeah. And there was a character of like the ArcLight guy, and he's like literally like, here's my movie script. I love movies, and here's the thing. And he was like, and I was like, this is Doug's sketch.
I don't even remember if I saw that.
And I was so upset. Paul Rust was the character.
Oh yeah, well he looks like Lawrence Saltzman in real life.
Oh, Lawrence Saltzman, your friend that you base his character off of.
No, I mean I don't even think I based it off anyone. I think I just made him like a nerdy looking guy.
Yeah.
You know.
So and he did this sketch. Now this was like what 12 years ago, 14 years
Probably
ago maybe.
Longer, yeah. So he did Paul Rust
did
a
it,
movie,
and I was upset for you,
right?
And I went to the contact us page of Funny or Die.
I remember this now,
and I wrote an email to
what's his
Will
name?
Chris Henchy, and Oscar winner now.
What's his name? I don't even remember his name. The Will Ferrell's ex-producing partner, Adam McKay. Yeah.
So they were the three contacts, right? And I just like went to contact us and select, and I was like,
were there emails listed?
Yes, and I sent this email and I linked your thing, and I said, this is Doug's character.
Right.
It's been on your site for a year and a half. You can note the date. And I was like, and here's what you put up today.
Right.
Like as some exclusive thing. Like this is messed up, guys.
Right. They would literally just go take like the people who were like kind of excelling at UCB and be like, what do you want to do? And they'd throw it out. You know, they did.
Well, I know. We made wrong choices at some point. But
we did.
So I send this email. I might have had a few drinks before I did it. Okay. So
and he wrote back.
I wrote, in the morning I wake up and Chris Henchy wrote me back. And he was like, Katie Rose, I'm so sorry this happened, but I can guarantee you we've never seen Doug's sketch.
Yeah, I know.
And he's like, it's just, it's the zeitgeist.
Right, exactly.
And I was like, he was absolutely right. Like it was, I think in the moment, I was just like,
I mean, it was
a
common, look, I mean, everyone's been to the ArcLight. Everyone was doing characters.
Yeah.
I happened to do mine at the Groundlings.
Yeah.
He did his at UCB probably.
Yeah.
UCB was kind of in with Funny or Die, and then that's what happened.
Yeah.
So it was
so I was all like,
Chris Henchy is now married to Brooke Shields. It's all good,
Well, I thought, listen, he wrote me back an email that to this day, like I think about it because he said to me in the email, he said, I just today saw somebody I've been working on a script for a year and change. And today somebody bought the same idea at pitch. And he's like, it happens. He's like, and the more it happens, the more it means you're kind of in the zeitgeist. You're in the hive mind. And I know it doesn't feel like a good thing, but it is a good thing. And you know what? He was right. And I wrote him back immediately. And I was like, I'm mortified that I did this. Also, fan for life, man. Thank you so much for writing me back.
And now you should write and be like, hey, will you read my Queen of Fishtown script? Like,
well,
you should.
I mean, it was that even with Mayor of Easttown coming
Yeah.
out and me being like, what's this?
Right.
And then
I
being
know.
like, oh no, this is great. This is the hive mind.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
oh, people are feeling Philly right now. Philly's
Right.
having a moment. And now we really are. I mean,
it's like-
obviously
I know.
the Phillies didn't win the World Series, but we got all the way there.
You got all the
We
way there.
did
You'll
pretty
be back.
amazing.
Yeah.
And the Union, the soccer team, that was an incredible game. The Flyers are doing great. And then the Eagles just so happen to be completely undefeated at this moment.
Yeah, they're
So-
doing well. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it was cool that he wrote you back, and it was
Yes.
like, you know, Funny or Die. They were kind of assholes though, because they just like deleted they went out of business, deleted their site,
I
and
know
then
they
like
should
all the
have warned
sketches.
everyone.
Like I can't like I don't know where like the National Treasure sketches. I don't have it anymore. Like that was on there, and like I don't think I ever put it on my YouTube. Like, I don't even know if I have it anymore.
Oh no.
So like there's stuff on there that I don't know if we'll
you
ever
should
see
write
again.
them. Maybe
Yeah.
maybe
Oh,
I'll
Chris,
look up his old.
since you
I'll
have
look up
nothing
his
else-
old
yeah.
email and see. Write and be like, hey.
But wasn't it kind of fucked? Because like I remember like putting stuff
They
on
should
there.
have said, "Hey, Funny or Die is going to be taken down. If you want, go get your videos."
I'm just annoyed that like there were certain things I put on there exclusively instead of putting it on my YouTube, where like YouTube is always going to be around. Like I can go
Right.
download any video I put up there and I can have a copy. Like
Right.
Funny or Die, I thought the same thing, but now obviously some of that
It's
shit is
gone.
lost. I think.
I think.
Uh,
You know what? It might be best as not National Treasure exactly, but
Yeah, I
some of
know.
it
Some of the
is
stuff.
better left as a memory.
Right. I agree. I agree.
Sometimes it's nice.
But it's kind of like, yeah, what did I put on there? I don't even remember. Like,
But
it's
that
like-
was another asshole story. But it worked
Yeah.
out. It
did work
and
out,
that
yeah.
the fact that he wrote me back, I'm like, I did not deserve an email back.
No.
But
it,
and I was really, really kind of him.
It was
and-
interesting though, because like all those guys were like at Mosaic, and I was like working there, or I just left, or whatever it was. So it was like I was there for like the birth of Funny or Die.
I think Mosaic owns UCB now.
Jimmy Miller
Yeah.
acquired it with someone else.
And the guy who used to run the Onion is like
Jimmy acquired it. I forget who else he acquired it with, but yeah, he owns part of it, or Mosaic owns part of it. So like they kind of relaunched it. Or
I'm
whatever.
kind of glad. Like I'm glad that that it's
I don't
still
know,
going to be around.
So they're doing classes again. They're doing shows. Like,
Yeah, I
you
went
were there
to,
the other.
Yeah,
the
I
other
went
week?
and saw Ithamar Has Nothing to Say.
Mm-hmm.
Ithamar Enriquez's. It's like a silent. He doesn't speak, but there's
Right.
music in it. It was absolutely incredible.
That's awesome.
It was
yeah.
great. It was like Rowan Atkinson level, like Bill Irwin clowning, like
Right.
at its finest. I mean, he's a Second City Chicago guy, and
That's great that they're
yeah,
back
I
open,
never.
though.
Yeah, it
But
was.
the
It
only
was great.
is the main theater is open, not that huge one on Sunset.
They sold that.
They sold it. That was too big.
I think they just got into some financial
Oh, yeah.
woes and,
Yeah.
and then the pandemic, and then it was
Right.
just like, all right.
Yeah,
But
just keep the small one.
Franklin
Yeah.
is still there.
That's good.
Franklin's
That's
the
all they
OG.
need.
It's so cool.
That's what they
and
need, yeah.
Birds is still there,
Right.
and yeah, it was fun. I hadn't been over there in a long time.
Yeah,
so.
I want to go check it out again. Yeah,
Yeah.
it'd be cool to get involved.
Theater's back, baby.
It's back.
That's why you should come see Queen of Fishtown.
Come see Queen of Fishtown on November 15th.
And I'm probably gonna
19th.
start doing it in LA.
I was
again.
gonna say, are you gonna do it in LA again?
Yeah,
Okay,
I'm talking to Pedrick over at the Broadwater.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking, maybe I'll do it once a month or maybe twice a
should.
month or something like that. Like just
sure.
as like a running
Yeah.
in the small space.
What about
there.
doing it in different parts of the city besides Hollywood? Is that something, or do you think it just lives in Theater Row in Hollywood?
No, I mean I like the Broadwater because the Plunge, the theater bar there is just so.
It's probably
so
harder to
great.
get people, like if you did it like in Santa Monica or something like that. I don't know. I'm just thinking like
I'm down
you
to
know
do it.
this city. People don't want to travel like to whatever.
Yeah,
Giving
I feel,
other people opportunities to see it that live 30 minutes away, which is really 45.
I feel like it's
with traffic.
better to stay consistent
Yeah, that's
where
true.
you are and what time, because if you start going other places, then I don't know.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
It's
like
so
they
hard
should,
to get people to pay
they
attention.
should want to go to Hollywood to see this. It's like have them come to you.
Yeah, and the Plunge is so great. I mean, that's
It's a cool space.
such a great cocktail bar,
Yeah.
and the theater's clean and the bathrooms
Right.
are clean
And they treat you well, and that's great.
yes, I really like the Broadwater. I think that it's a great theater space in LA. So.
Yeah. There you go. Plug the Broadwater.
I'll plug
Go
them.
see some
Yes,
shows
they're
there.
great.
Yeah, it is a good space. All right. Well, make sure. What have we learned? Katierose Enriquez one-woman show, Queen of Fishtown, is going to be in New York City, November 15th and 19th at the United Solo. Where can they get tickets? What's your website?
Queenoffishtown.com.
Mm-hmm.
And you can also follow me on all of the social medias.
Yep,
I have all of them.
We have them up there on the screen.
QueenofFishtown.com will have all the info also about the show, about me, about Corey, all of my press appearances. I was on Good Day Philadelphia with Mike Jarek. I was on Philly Live with Sheila Watko. She's trending now because she does the traffic report with like if an album drops, she'll like use all the album names. Like she did it for Beyonce.
Oh, really?
She did it for Taylor Swift. Yeah. I don't know how she did it for the World Series. Like she fits in. It's pretty great. I'll have to send you the video.
Yeah,
I did so much press all over. And
you
so
have
all
to.
that stuff is, and I built an EPK this week.
Right.
An
EPK.
electronic press kit.
right.
I didn't even know what that was.
Gotta have it.
This whole journey has been a learning experience. I'm not exactly sure with the death card, how it's coming in, but I guess it's just immense change.
It's still going, and the opportunities are just going to grow from here. I think
Yeah, and then if you want a tarot, hit me up.
Yeah, get a tarot while you're at it. Why not? Yeah. All right. Well, Katierose Enriquez, her show can be seen all these places. Check out the website for the full details on where to get tickets and when it's coming to your city. At some point, if you live not in one of the cities that's coming up, I'm sure it will be there at some point.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Of course.
Douglas Basiliga.
Thank you. Yes.
Am I allowed to say your full name?
Sure. No one. Yeah. People. Yeah. Of course. Who cares?
Prince Douglasis.
Prince Douglas. I know. We gotta have Corey. We have to have Corey Podell on here at some point. You guys should come back.
Get Corey on. Get Courtney on.
I gotta get them all
Get
on.
Kate Frisbee on.
I know. I taught.
Get all the bizzos.
Get all them on. I should have them all on the same time. Oh my god.
You should just have a bizzo reunion.
A bizzo reunion on the Basshole show. That would be amazing. Actually.
The big boss bizzos.
I'm gonna set it up. We're gonna do it. All right, Katierose, thanks for being here. You guys remember to follow the podcast. Make sure if you're listening to the podcast, leave a review. Share it with your friends on iTunes, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast fix. Make sure you follow us on Instagram at Basshole Podcast. And remember, guys, don't be a basshole. But if you are, laugh about it. Ciao.
You've been listening to I'm a Basshole with Doug Bass. Follow us on Instagram at Basshole Show. Think you deserve to be on the show? Email us at contact@bassholeshow.com and visit our website at www.bassholeshow.com and get the latest information. Subscribe on Spotify or wherever you get your podcast fix. And don't miss the full videos on YouTube. Remember, don't be a basshole, but if you are, laugh about it. We'll see you next time.